Whenever this 3D symbol appears on your screen, put on your Telcast 3D glasses for a unique 3D viewing experience.
$300 feet, I reckon.
That big? Yeah. Oh, what did it do to you? What did it do to you?
Oh, you disappear one end.
One bite.
Stand up his mouth.
Well, I don't want to go through that again.
You see its mouth?
Yeah.
Absolutely. 3 pops at once.
Like looking at a cave.
Mate, it was definitely a shark. It was no bloody whale. I tell you,
I couldn't agree more.
I tell you what, mate, no one's going to believe us.
I don't care if they believe us or not. We saw the damn thing.
Ah, David, you should have been out there today. Got another fish story for me, boys?
Biggest bloody fish I've seen, mate. It was bigger than this bloody wharf.
It was twice as long as this boat, and this is no dinghy. I've never been so scared in my life.
I was pulling in the pots. And then this thing comes out of the water. And he takes the pots, line and all.
In one swipe.
What do you think it was?
It was a shark. We're fishermen. We
In
know what sharks
1918, David Steed, an Australian fishing inspector, is the first to investigate the fisherman's chilling encounter with a shark of almost unbelievable dimensions. A monster 3 times as big as the great white shark, a creature believed to be extinct for over 1 million years. Was this the giant megalodon shark, the most ferocious and largest predator of all times? The search for clues about the mysterious megalodon takes us back 4 billion years. Hot volcanoes and poisonous gases rampage, allowing no life to exist. The gases condense in the atmosphere, creating massive and continuous floods of rain. The creation of the oceans provide perfect conditions for the beginnings of life on Earth. $500 million years ago, fantastic creatures populate our watery planet. The seas are vibrant with primordial fish and organisms of all shapes and sizes, and the first great ocean predators are already hunting their prey. Like the dinosaurs on land, most of these monstrous creatures have long since become extinct. But one species survived them all for 420 million years. Sharks, a masterpiece of evolution, and Carcharodon megalodon was the ruler of all. $10 to 20 million years ago, the Calvert Cliffs in Maryland and the United States were still underwater. What was once seabed is now 30 meters above the waterline. Here, scientists like Mike Gottfried search layers of rock for clues about megalodon, the ocean's largest predator. Fossilized shark teeth have been preserved here for millions of years. Like a detective investigating a site in search for the weapon, Mike collects clues about the massive monster that ruled our oceans for 25 million years.
Think of a shark over 50 feet long with 7-inch teeth, weighing the equivalent of about 7 or 8 Tyrannosaurus rex dinosaurs. Megalodon clearly would have been one of the most terrifying, maybe the most terrifying predator that ever lived. Certainly the most terrifying that the oceans have ever seen.
A team of top scientists and underwater adventurers gather in San Diego, California. Their mission, the investigation of Megalodon and its closest surviving relative, the great white shark. join forces on board the Quest, one of the world's most modern research vessels. Mike Gottfried, paleontologist and a renowned megalodon specialist. Peter Klimley, the U.S. expert for great white sharks. And Andrew White, the famous Australian adventurer and diver who has experienced many dangerous encounters with sharks. The Quest is purpose-built to take scientists and explorers into the most remote regions of the open seas. It carries a vast armory of state-of-the-art technology for journeys and research, both above and below the water. With a jet helicopter, 7 support boats, submersibles, and several shark cages, the Quest is perfectly equipped to penetrate the habitat of the great sharks. "70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. The oceans provide an ideal environment and hiding place for the most amazing creatures. And during the last decades, we have learned a lot about the coral reefs and their inhabitants. But the depths of the ocean still remain largely unexplored, a secret realm. Our first destination is Guadeloupe, a volcanic island off the Mexican Baja Peninsula. The hunting grounds of the great white shark are here, around this desolate area. Large colonies of northern elephant seals and Guadeloupe fur seals attract the great white to these waters. Younger seals especially are the great predator's preferred source of food. Expedition leader Andrew White has been diving with sharks for 20 years. He knows the danger associated with each dive and must rely on his equipment. Great whites can grow up to 6 meters in length, and it only takes 1 second for a shark to take a bite. But shark attacks are still comparatively low, at 30 to 100 a year compared to tiger attacks. However, one shouldn't take any chances. They are an unpredictable large predator. The crew readies the stable shark cages for the dive. It would be suicidal to penetrate the great predator's realm without the protection of steel bars. Peter, our shark expert, lures the sharks in with large bait. The maneuverable, battle-scarred shark cage is carefully lowered into the water. Our sensitive 3D cameras are built into special submarine housings and sealed watertight for the underwater filming.
Is everybody ready?
In order to reconstruct a picture of how Megalodon already lived 20 million years ago, we must know more about the habitat of the great white shark, its closest living relative. The great white and Megalodon shared the same hunting grounds for at least 10 million years. To Mike Gottfried, the great white offers a chance to observe what the Megalodon may have looked like in action. As Mike himself says, if you want to profile a megalodon and you want to get an idea of what it was like, looking at great whites is absolutely essential. A megalodon would have probably used the same hunting strategy as the great white today. Slowly closing in from below, its dark gray back makes it invisible to its prey. The shark's preferred hunting tactic is the surprise attack. It slowly circles its prey until just the right moment has come. Small fish and our bait are just one bite for him. But with larger prey, the shark first takes a quick bite, dives, and waits for its prey to bleed to death. And when that has happened, the shark returns, and then devours its prey completely. A shark can produce over 30,000 teeth during the course of its lifetime. The rows of teeth in the upper and lower jaws are completely replaced in a cycle of only 8 days. If a tooth falls out, the next one is pushed to the front of the jaw. When biting, the great white's lower jaw pushes forward for a fraction of a second. The power of its bite is like the weight of an entire truck on a human thumbnail. Mike Gottfried carefully inspects the sharp teeth of the great white. They are one of the keys towards reconstructing a precise image of the prehistoric sharks. Compared with even a great white's tooth, the megalodon tooth is nearly 3 times as large. Due to its gigantic teeth, it is also called megatooth shark. Like a forensic scientist, our paleontologist uses this weapon to determine the killer's body size, sex, and age. The proportions of a grown megalodon can even be determined by using a mathematical formula. The megalodon so densely populated the world's oceans that even today the business of selling its teeth is flourishing.
If you want giant megalodon teeth like this, come see me, Dougie Douglas, in Calvert County, Maryland.
In the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C., we can compare the jaws of a great white shark with that of the megalodon. The teeth are real in this reconstruction. These gigantic jaws leave no doubt that the megatooth was the mega monster of the oceans. Up to 17 meters long and weighing 60 tons, it wouldn't have had any problem in devouring a full-grown sea elephant in just one bite. But even a megalodon needs some dental care on occasion. Like the great white, megalodon has numerous replacement teeth in its jaw. Mike Gottfried spent several years in reconstructing this megalodon skeleton, a shark the size of a freight train locomotive with a lethal front end.
I think it would just be a truly remarkable sight. You're talking about a predatory shark the size of a baleen whale, basically the size of a humpback whale.
The shark's skeleton consists entirely of cartilage rather than bones. After a shark dies, its skeleton decays completely. Only their teeth, which consist of hard calcium, remain. Teeth like gigantic daggers, which struck fear and terror into the ocean's other species. Imagine coming face to face with this monster of the seas. This is the largest known fish swimming in our oceans. It survived for more than 30 million years, the whale shark. This majestic creature can grow up to 20 meters, and it gives us the best impression of the unbelievable size of megalodon. Whale sharks are plankton feeders, living off tiny organisms which they filter open-jawed through their gills. They have been swimming in the oceans for more than 30 million years, so they predate even megalodon. Perhaps their choice of food kept whale sharks unchanged as a species and ensured their survival. Filter feeders like this would have faced very different environmental pressures compared with predatory sharks with their much more specialized diets. These gentle giants will let divers get close to them, but an unintended swipe with its powerful tail fin can cause serious injuries. Andrew White, our expedition leader, describes the sensation of swimming next to this specimen as one of his most exhilarating underwater experiences. Whale sharks swim between 3 to 5 kilometers an hour, continuously feeding on plankton in order to keep their huge bulk fueled with energy. Some have suggested that it might have been a whale shark that our fishermen saw back in 1918. However, it is very unlikely, as whale sharks would have had little appetite for crayfish traps. The existence of the whale shark lets us imagine that other massive ancient sharks could be alive today. Even with heavy whaling, the megalodon's source of food is out there, not to the same extent as it once was. Whereas plankton, the whale shark's food, is still readily available, obtained by its filtering over 10,000 liters of seawater every hour. Unlike the whale shark, megalodon had to more cunningly stalk its prey. Megalodon teeth marks have been found in the fossilized bones of small whales like these. They would have been an ideal source of food for the giant shark. Like the great white, megalodon probably also fed on seals. The big sharks are not out for the meat of the seal, but rather their heavy layer of blubber. Peter Climley, our shark expert, is searching for seals which were able to escape a shark attack. They are often scarred by bite marks which reveal the size and kind of shark that hunts them. Much to our surprise, we discover round-shaped bite wounds in the thick skin of many seals. These golf ball-sized wounds are caused by a mysterious shark which no one has yet to see alive. It's called the cookie cutter shark due to the size and shape of its bites. The cookie cutter is only half a meter long and lives in depths of between 100 and 3,500 meters. Up to now, only a few dead specimens have been caught in fishermen's nets. Seals can dive to amazing depths. Their big eyes let them see in the dark as they dive down to 1,000 meters searching for their favorite food. But as the seals set off on their hunt, they must be careful not to become prey themselves. Only their speed and agility lets them escape. The great white can afford to be choosy as it patiently waits for a weakened animal. Seals are very cautious by nature. Usually, when they play like this, there's no immediate danger lurking. They will flee onto land at the approach of a great white. Seals are also safe from the great white if they dive deeper than 300 meters, because it will not follow them into these depths. A completely different form of danger is lurking down here. The mysterious shark that does not kill the seals, but cuts pieces out of their bodies. The vicious and tricky cookie cutter is also known as the small glowing shark. It has razor-sharp teeth and a big mouth with special suction lips. Its neon green stomach mimics a squid's glow, attracting the seals. It quickly attacks, gouging out a layer of fat in a single grab, and then retreats, allowing the seal to live another day. The depths of the ocean still hide the most amazing kinds of monsters, both small and big. The legendary giant squid pulling entire ships into the depths is no longer a monster of tall tales. This specimen was caught off the coast of Australia. The legend lives. Today, we know that giant squid can grow up to lengths of 25 meters, weighing several tons. This specimen's tentacles have a reach of over 12 meters. The giant squid's eyes are as big as soccer balls, the biggest of the animal kingdom. Up to now, scientists have only been able to study dead giant squid because no one has penetrated their mysterious habitat in the depths to observe them successfully. The exploration of the deep has brought man to the limits of technology. We know less about the depths of our oceans than we know about the moon. The Quest submersible, a tiny pressure-proof fortress, is designed for one person. It has a 48-hour air supply. At the moment, there are only 5 submersibles capable of reaching a depth of 6,000 meters. One of them, the Alvin, was used to investigate the wreck of the Titanic. Explorers have only scratched the surface of our oceans. Who knows what secrets remain to be uncovered? The enormous pressures of the deep are the biggest barrier to man. We can only dive to the depth of 100 meters unprotected. But at depths of 2,500 meters, where the whales search for food, there's an unbelievable pressure of over 250,000 grams on every square meter. Up to been one submersible that has reached the deepest point of the ocean. At this depth, even Mount Everest at 8,800 meters would sink well below the waves. The depths are enshrouded in darkness and the water is bitterly cold. It's an inhospitable environment for man, but many creatures do call it home. Military submarines can dive to 1,000 meters, but we have to reach 2,000 meters to enter the secret hunting grounds of the sperm whale. The water pressure increases. Although here it is extremely high, the giant squid can still survive at a depth of 3,000 meters. The average depth of the ocean floor is 3,600 meters. No light ever enters this dark world, but some inhabitants are able to generate their own light. Some scant remains of the seas and lie here on the ocean floor. The weight of a dying megalodon would quickly pull it to the bottom, where nothing will remain from its cartilage skeleton. Only its giant teeth will fossilize over the ages. Fossils are evidence of lives lived long ago turned into stone, remains of creatures we assume to have been extinct for millions of years. But from time to time, we do make a discovery that brings a fossil back to life. The lobefish, coelacanth, believed to be extinct and discovered alive, well and unchanged after 50 million years off the East African coast in 1987. It can move its pectoral and pelvic fins independently. Is it possible that a large shark such as Megalodon could go similarly? The more recent and sensational prehistoric, first hauled up from a depth of 152 meters by the U.S. Navy in 1976, is a peaceful plankton feeder. An experiment 2,000 meters. The massive, rare, giant shark. This fear is not surprising, seeing with how much raw power and energy a great white shark attacks.
Well, I've been studying white sharks now for 15 years, and I've learned a lot about them, and I've learned that they're not just a simple killing machine. I would argue that the white shark is not really a man-eater. It's called a man-eater as a common name, but that's a misnomer. And if you look at the shark attack record on humans, you have to really look hard to find a human that's actually eaten. Generally, humans are seized and they're released. In fewer cases, the shark will take a single bite, but very rarely do they actually take several bites.
But still, only a handful of extremely bold divers dare to approach the great white without any protection. To track down their prey, sharks have an entire arsenal of the most amazing and highly developed sensory organs. The shark's eye is one of the most effective in the entire animal kingdom. It enables sharks to see even under the most diffuse light conditions. Their sense of smell is unbelievably precise. They can detect blood at ratios of 1 to 10 billion, like a single molecule in a swimming pool. Man's sense of smell is extremely primitive by comparison. Over 6,000 nerve cells comprise its supersensitive lateral line system. This line system can pick up vibrations caused by the slightest movement of a fish or a diver at distances of up to 1 kilometer. These small pores on the shark's head are the ampullae of Lorenzini. They let the shark detect even minimal electric currents given off by every muscle contraction of its prey. Even in total darkness, the shark would sense a diver's heartbeat like a loud drum. The shark turns away. If sharks really wanted to hunt and eat humans, no swimmer or diver could ever go in the water. Sharks always know where they are. Megalodon already had the same sophisticated sensory organs millions of years ago to search for his primary prey, the whales. But the giant shark would have a tough time surviving today. Mankind has hunted and slaughtered the great whales to the point of making entire species extinct. And even the sharks themselves are not exempt. Over 100 million sharks are killed every year. Australian Shane Down used to be proud of hunting sharks for a living.
I was out spearing out on the reef and I spotted this tiger shark, probably about 10, 11 feet long. And being young and stupid, I had a powerhead on board and one shot killed it. What changed my mind was I bought an underwater video camera. And from then on, I've gone out there and I've bellied them up. And the first probably 12 months, I didn't jump in the water, I wasn't game enough, until I learned a lot more about the tiger sharks, and it's just gone on from there.
Tiger sharks can grow up to 6 meters long and are known as dangerous carnivores, eating fish, other sharks, dolphins, and birds. But all kinds of household trash has also been found in their stomachs. The tiger shark's teeth are smaller than those of the great white, but no less effective. The tiger shark's rapid shaking head movement is transferred to its teeth, working like a saw which can even cut through the hard shell of a sea turtle. Shane has lost his fear of what is known as one of the ocean's most ferocious sharks. He now finds them to be beautiful and enjoys swimming with them. The shark species has amazingly diversified over its 400 million year evolution. The harmless epaulet shark uses its fins to wander across coral reefs. There are over 350 known species of sharks, and even today, new unknown forms are still being discovered in the deep. Many species don't even look like sharks, although they are their closest relatives, the mantis and the stingrays. The Galapagos shark is one of the species which give birth to live young. The gray nurse looks fierce, but is harmless to man. Divers mostly encounter the white-tipped reef shark as it cruises the reef edge hunting fish. The Moto tribe on Fiji worships sharks as the representatives of their gods, respecting and protecting them. Apisai Bati passes on the legends and his own knowledge about sharks to the children of his tribe. When Appy was still a small boy, his brother went diving and was attacked by a shark despite the peaceful shark legends. As Appy's father jumped into the water to save the boy, the shark bit him in the stomach as well. Badly hurt, both made it to shore. Since then, Appy has wanted to learn more about these creatures that are woven into his tribe's culture and who almost killed his brother and his father. The young Motos peacefully share their fish-rich reef with the sharks, two hunters after the same prey. Apisai Bati wants to show us his unique relationship to the sharks, leading our team to one of the numerous shark-infested waters off Fiji. Appy believes that sharks, like other wild animals, can sense human fear. He believes that one is safe simply by not fearing them. Reef sharks are flighty and have been known to attack out of confusion. And once an attack begins, they will move in on their prey in numbers. The sharks really do seem to know and accept Appy. They allow him a level of contact never seen before. An impressive understanding has developed here between man and the supposed vicious killer. Appy says he can identify with them and can even read and understand the shark's mind. Andrew is convinced that Appy's story goes to show that mankind's general opinion about sharks is limited and that their intelligence is far more complex than what we give them credit for. Hopefully, by changing people's minds, Appy may be helping sharks to survive a little longer. Today, researchers are encountering increasing difficulties in finding great white sharks for observation and study. After millions of years, time for the ruler of the oceans seems to be finally running out. Despite all our developments in technology, the oceans are just too immense. We will never be able to explore everything. Hopefully, some of its inhabitants have managed to find refuge from mankind somewhere in the depths of the ocean. Maybe megalodon is one of them. If we don't start to radically change our attitude and protect all life in the oceans, then even the last great white shark will soon disappear forever.
Well, I think people will speculate about megalodon as long as there are people speculating about sharks in general. Well, the jury has to still be out, because we can't prove a negative. We can't prove that something doesn't exist. We can only prove that something does exist. We can't say with 100% certainty that they're not there. We can only say that we don't think they're there.
Maybe those fishermen back in 1918 really did see one of the last ancient megasharks.